when you were here before. Could have guessed that you were fine. You smell like a bagel. Adult girls make me cry. You float my old tugboat in my bountiful depends. I wish I was special. You're so f***ing special. But I'm a creep. I'm a peddler. How the hell did I get here? How did I get here? I know my butt's been wide.
What?
I can't help when I pee. I want a perfect toddler. I want a perfect tween. I hope they don't notice when I'm sniffing round. You're so f***ing special. These kids smell so special. But I'm a creep. I'm a peddler. How the hell did I get here? How did I get here? Oh, see.
By the way, you gave me permission to touch you.
Sniffing kids makes me happy. It's all I ever want. They smell f***ing special. These kids smell so special. But I'm a creep. I'm a peddler. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
The crowd. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
And let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
The president has a big stick. We choose truth over facts.
Check my shape on. Let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama. We can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me, but she's first rate.
I know I'm called middle class, Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. It means I'm not sophisticated. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
To the word united. To the number 30330. 30330. Or 303330. Or BOO. Wait. But you got it.
That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it, it's so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again? My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. It's I'm not joking.
Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive. Is your dad passed? God bless her soul. I agree that everybody once they, in fact, anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vice President.
Yeah, do the thing, folks. Please do the thing. I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you 1,000 different questions, and they're all legit. I'm telling you, we're going to get this done. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter whether it's in 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
We're going to get it done.
But now, we still have comedy, though. We still have great comedy out there. There's always rambling Joe Biden. What the Joe says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No. What is going on? Joe is like your uncle who's on a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right. I'm proud to work with Barack America. He's not a superhero, you idiot. Come here. When FDR was on television, there was no TV back then. Come here, Joe. Sit down. Rambling Joe Biden. What the
1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happens? They make you management. You can't get paid overtime. And you see it happening with labor as well. So the bottom line is I'm for you because America needs you to grow.
know these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. Among many qualified people, I'm the best qualified person for this job.
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it. You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. I just spoke at Dartmouth on healthcare at the medical school, or not. I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was the medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus. I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation. The president asked me to head up a cancer moonshot in another country and annex a significant portion of it called Crimea. He's saying that it was my boss, it was his fault. Guatemala, El Salvador, and to win and say in Honduras and say, look, I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. By strengthening, by investing $100 billion in education, in global warming efforts. It's a whole range of things. We can't afford it by just beginning to treat work, reward work as much as wealth. Get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down, so it was trained, and then watch the hair come back up again. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun. Don't jump! Don't jump! Don't jump! They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. To say that LGBTQT people have no civil rights. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger. We have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. And immediately change the law in the state of Delaware protecting transgender people. We have to eliminate the funding gap that exists between minority white and majority white and non-white districts. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Man, you're hard to keep up with.
You can right out there. But after a good workout, got to drink up.
All right.
Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble with Jill and Michelle.
Just let Michelle know I did. Right?
Same time next week?
Same time next week.
All right.
You got a real dilemma, Mr. President.
I can't go every day, can I?
Which you like better, these or these?
Joe, they're the same.
They capture different moods. I didn't get a chance to flash shift in the second. I was afraid I'd go through those guys. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Corruption. Trump was out there tweeting again this morning. I call him President Tweety. Well, Trump is pursuing a damaging and erratic trade war without any strategy, by the way. This guy is moving to foment hate. But President Trump and the demagogues around the world, but if Donald Trump is reelected, he doesn't want to shed light. He wants to generate heat, and he's stoking violence in our cities. I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old I was there as well. They think I'm kidding, man. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Anyway. They think I'm kidding, man. Let me be clear.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this.
If you're in a state where hurricanes often strike, like Florida or the Gulf Coast or into Texas, a vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now.
I'm so damn confused.
Everything is more complicated if you're not vaccinated and a hurricane or natural disaster hits.
Well, of course.
That makes perfect sense. What a nice man.
That was totally worth the drive.
Joe Biden lied to the American public before the election. He didn't tell people that he's a Marxist. He's planned this all along, and he's a traitor to this country.
The turnout is absolutely amazing. I know there's many people who tried to come and couldn't, but you know what? They're still here in spirit, and you can see it, you can hear it. Everybody's here. This is awesome. I'm here because I definitely am against this vaccine mandate. It's our freedom to choose if we want to get injected by this stuff or not. The FDA approval, you know, is too fast. It's just not. It's not ethical to make everybody get this vaccine or lose their jobs. What is this going to do to America?
Mental, my physical as well as my mental fitness. And I want to see these beautiful. My physical as well as my mental fitness. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older too. I'm looking forward to this, man. You walk behind me in a debate. Come here, man.
Why should people want to make a change, though?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Why should they?
It's for them to decide.
Well, make your case.
I'm not going to. We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis, exacerbating the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug. Speaking of the environment. We need to work again with Canada and Mexico as neighbors, not as adversaries. Donald Trump does pose an extra threat to this. It's not hypothetical. There's things that are worth dealing with China tough on. That makes it far more durable, reliable, and powerful. And partnerships built on coercion. Because if you could take care, if you were a quartermaster, you can sure and hell take care of running a department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies' department or whatever. You know what I mean? And what makes his wild claims and hopes? He now hopes we don't notice what he said or won't remember. And when he does follow through or doesn't do, would follow through, the exact opposite. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happened? The way China will respond is when we gather the rest of the world that in fact believes in open trade and making sure that we're in a position that the world that we deal with WHO the right way. That in fact that's when things began to change. I looked at it anyway. That's what I think my plan. I know what my plan does.
Senator, I mean. No, but I mean, it's not about, I know you're supporting by saying booing, but look, here's the deal.
And I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. Wow. And go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving. So you don't make somebody else sick. Sick. What's with this guy? Well, the only thing we can do about it is be prepared. We have a whole group of lawyers who are going out to every voter registration physician in the states, the secretaries of state, making sure that they, in fact, have a game plan as to how they're going to allow the voting to take place. But in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, soon to be.
Estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. That's why I made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president.
1787, the United States Constitution.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You know where we were. Anyway, welcome to the nation's Constitution Center. I had the great privilege of being the guest leader of this outfit for a year. It's an appropriate place to make the speech I'm about to make. Great. God, love you. How are you? Hey, everyone. I'm Joe Biden's husband. But the truth is, she's the strongest person I know. She's a backbone like a ramrod. That's the kind of first lady this Jill Biden will be. God love you. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. So I couldn't tell anybody but Barack. Don't have here in Miami, in Florida. You don't have it here. And that is, if you keep
Yes, you up in the back. Yes.
All right, 24 minutes of Bo Jiden to start 2/4 2024. I think is appropriate, but we'll finish with this one. Oh, it happens to be 42 seconds. Wrestling in mania indeed, sir. Agreed.
Do I agree with abortion? I agree. My view is that government should not make the judgment. Therefore, I have voted for 15 years consistently against limiting the right of a woman to make a decision with her doctor whether or not she should have an abortion. And on the other side, I have also voted against direct government funding of abortion. If you say government should stay out, government should stay out. Government should stay out.
Okay, was I muted before? You didn't hear anything I said? Did you guys hear me at all? Or what's going on? Was I muted? Yeah, sir, the answer to this question is yes. So number 2. So we're behaving. It might have been infiltrated by the Talbot. You know the thing. You know how it goes. Oh, I was muted. Okay. Well, what I was saying was 24 minutes of Bo Jiden to start 2/4 2024 seems appropriate, but I played that last video, and then I got this one too. This one is, if this is the one I'm thinking of, man, this channel is just shot out. This channel, I think it's called Post America, I think is the name of the channel. This is only a minute and a half. Enjoy. I'll be right back. Can't get enough Bo Jiden. You just can't get enough.
Everyone just calm down. Put the guns down, son. I know what I have to do. Put down the gun, son. I don't have to put down the gun. Put the gun down, son. You don't know what I'm doing. Let's take this right after you do this, son. Don't talk to the president. Do this, son. Merry Christmas, Mr. President.
R.I.P. Joe. Man, what are we gonna do without you, sir? All right, so I think that's a good amount of Joe. What do you think? Oh man, he's got the Comet Ping Pong FBI logo optics going on here. Man. Man, the optics are high, bro. Damn. Yo, it's just I can't get enough, man. And I got this whole playlist, so I figured, you know what? What I really should have done was scheduled this as just a Joe, as a Bo Jiden super stream, you know what I mean? Or a creepy Joe super Saturn Day super stream, something like that. Probably would have got more, but regardless, they're still gonna have me in the digital sandbox. It doesn't really matter. Noodle grooving, indeed, sir. What do you guys think? Drop a 1 for another video. Drop a 2 to hear me speak on my love for Joe Biden. Jesident pro Jiden. I also had a new here. It's not really new actually at all. It's just a kind of soundbite. 1 then 2. You know what? How about this? I'm not going to give you either, and I'm just going to give you a new song. You may have heard it before. It involves a kazoo. So, Kazoo Kid Trap Remix. Quite enjoyable. We're still doing the opposite.
Dance, pretend, and I like to have fun. Love you. Let's go over here. Just you and me. I just wanted to say, can we do more kazoo? You're my special friend.
Right. So that's in the chamber now. That's just gonna expect that to be a regular from now on. But this is Biden getting booed at a congressional baseball game. This might be an older video. Now that I think about it, I have a mixture of older and newer videos in here. So.
Joe, you suck!
What are the people who died? What do you think? They think this makes sense for us to do this kind of thing where you ride down the street and someone has a sign saying that's so and so? I mean,
Fantastic job by a really great young man who's got a big future, and we're just honored. We're just honored. Thank you.
That's what everybody's saying now. I don't think you hear that back home. Everybody's screaming right now. The people are going nuts.
Whoa. You're a mud for what you did to Afghanistan. Terrible. Don't sniff them. Terrible.
I'll say it loud. You're not supposed to say it.
Don't jump.
Thank you, sir.
He ain't gonna do That's what God is left Afghanistan for what? This guy for leave them in ruins and leave Americans behind. Leave Americans behind! Ronald Wilfred buried in Arlington, 2011, December 11th. For what? He lost his life for what?
Joe, you're a disgrace to the Catholic faith. Joe, you're a disgrace to the Catholic faith. Joe, you're a disgrace to the Catholic faith. Joe.
A chorus of boos rained down on Biden and his supporters on the last stretch. Still, Biden kept smiling.
Next. We're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna get through them all. You know what I mean?
We all need to develop immunity to the entire virus, and there's only one way that's going to happen. I hate to say it, we're all going to have to catch this goal. That's it. And I want to be clear. Our vaccinated brothers and our unvaccinated brothers is the same. You're going to have to catch it too. You can't hide from the virus. We tried that. It didn't go away. We wore our masks. It didn't go away. We all have to man up. We have to woman up. Actually, it tends to be a stronger gender, if you ask me. We're going to have to catch this goal. And we're going to have to say to everybody, look, you're allowed to take your vaccine. I've never tried to stop people from taking a vaccine. People call me anti-vaccine. Dell's anti-vaccine. No, I'm not. I'm not. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm anti-rape. If I see someone being raped, I'm going to run in there, block them off, have them arrested, beat them to a pulp, and I'm going to handle that situation. That's anti. That's anti. If you want to get a vaccine, bring it over here and I'll shove it in your for you. I'm just not going to take it myself.
You want to keep going? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here? We're just overdosing on Bo Jiden content, really. A complete overdose of all things Bo Jiden. And I don't mind it. And apparently neither do 6 of you, so.
2,000 coronavirus deaths. If you have a statement on your responsibility, why have you asked Biden to do more to be transparent on the origins? Mr. President!
What kind of progress have you made on Build Back Better? What kind of progress?
Here at home, union workers are wondering what this mandate will mean for them if they refuse to get the vaccine. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke to grocery store workers who were torn about today's mandate.
I spoke to both vaccinated and unvaccinated people tonight, and they both do have one thing in common. They both agree they should have the choice to do what's best for them. For large grocery store chains, President Biden's vaccine mandate means it's very likely they'll soon require the shot for everyone or have to submit to weekly COVID-19 testing.
I'm vaccinated, but not everyone has the same feelings. A lot of people don't want to be vaccinated.
Diana Stewart says she got vaccinated because she had health concerns and wanted to be safe while interacting with so many people daily, but she does not agree with the mandate.
It should be an option. I mean, we do live in America and it is a free country.
Her coworker Humberto is not vaccinated. He has concerns about the vaccine's safety.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's fair. I think it should be one personal choice.
He's not sure what he'll do if it comes down to vaccinate or lose his job of 17 years.
If worse comes to worse, I mean, I'm not going to end up unemployed, so I would have to get vaccinated, I guess.
Both Diana and Humberto are union workers, members of UFCW Local 135. In a statement, Union President Todd Walters told ABC 10 News, quote, "We are against the mandates and we fight for our members to have options," saying that although he's vaccinated and wishes everyone would get vaccinated, he understands everyone has different beliefs and says it's the union's job to fight for all members, vaccinated or not. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
I want you to, I'm not sure this is appropriate. There was a famous African-American baseball player.
How much do you pay attention to approval ratings?
Well, not anymore. I was paying attention in the mid-60s. Now in the mid-70s, I don't pay attention.
I appreciate the honesty, yeah. I mean, because you came in hot, and then you got to medium, and now you're at a low, but you just got to keep your head down, right? And just keep doing the right thing. Keep doing the right thing.
You are either lying or you're stupid. I'm stupid. I'm stupid.
Keep doing the right thing.
Then when I inherited this job, when I inherited the coronavirus pandemic, when I first got elected. So the thing that I continue to hope that people will overcome their fears. Then when I inherited this job, must increase vaccinations.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. I'm kind of retarded.
No. That's going to be a soundbite. They're going to put that to mariachi music.
No. I might have to use Elon Musk flamethrower to light the next joint. Well, I'll take a puff of tobacco, but no, seriously. When it comes to regular live, some regular tobacco with no marijuana at all. Would you like some? Yes. Okay.
Vaccination requirements. With nearly 80 million eligible Americans who have not gotten vaccinated, many said they were waiting for approval from the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. Well, last month, the FDA granted that approval. So the time for waiting is over. This summer, we made progress through the combination of vaccine requirements and incentives, as well as the FDA approval. 4 million more people got their first shot in August than they did in July. But we need to do more. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. United Airlines, Disney, Tyson's Food, and even Fox News. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers. I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce. And tonight, I'm removing one of the last remaining obstacles that make it difficult for you to get vaccinated. The Department of Labor will require employers with 100 or more workers to give those workers paid time off to get vaccinated. No one should lose pay in order to get vaccinated or take a loved one to get vaccinated. Today, in total, the vaccine requirements in my plan will affect about 100 million Americans, 2/3 of all workers. And for other sectors, I issue this appeal to those of you running large entertainment venues, from sports arenas to concert venues to movie theaters. Please require folks to get vaccinated or show a negative test as a condition of entry. And to the nation's family physicians, pediatricians, GPs, general practitioners, you're the most trusted medical voice to your patients. You may be the one person who can get someone to change their mind about being vaccinated. Tonight, I'm asking each of you to reach out to your unvaccinated patients over the next 2 weeks and make a personal appeal to them to get the shot. My message to unvaccinated Americans is this: what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. So please do the right thing, but just don't take it from me. Listen to the voices of unvaccinated Americans who are lying in hospital beds, taking their final breath saying, if only I'd gotten vaccinated, if only. It's a tragedy. Please don't let it become yours. They're being told that, Armageddon's on the way. Yeah. The truth is, the economy is growing more than it has any time in close to 60 years. The unemployment rate's down to 4.2%. It's going to go lower, in my view.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday night. We're going to begin tonight with the staggering inflation that is hitting Americans right in the wallet. Prices were up 6.8% in November compared to a year ago. That is the biggest increase in nearly 40 years. The cost of pretty much everything is surging: food, gas, electricity, housing, cars, and clothes. And those who received raises this year are seeing them wiped out by skyrocketing costs. Listen to this. By one estimate, expenses for a typical American family have shot up by about $4,000.
The economy is growing more than it has any time in close to 60 years. The unemployment rate's down to 4.2%. It's going to go lower, in my view.
It's your boy, Joe Barack Obama's VP. I'm the big guy. Xavier on the beat. Black people can't get voter ID. They don't have Wi-Fi like you and me. I call all Hispanic people it takes. And you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Trump will put Joe back in chains. I left the shower with my daughter to this very day. My son Hunter is a good kid. He is a genius. Throw guns in the trash and Skittles on his. You can't go to a Dunkin' Donuts or even a 7-Eleven unless you have just the slightest of an Indian accent. I do not want my children growing up in the racial jungle and sharing a bus. I'm so sad that they closed Toys R Us, and I really miss Robert Byrd. He was my bud. I love sniffing children. I love Hillary Clinton. I love spending billions of your tax dollars drone striking buildings. Open up the border and let in the fentanyl. If you change your gender, we'll promote you to general. Want to work for senators, expose all your genitals. The girls with Stephen Hawking always ate all their vegetables. You can't go to a Dunkin' Donuts or even a 7-Eleven unless you have just the slightest of an Indian accent. I do not want my children growing up in a racial jungle and sharing a bus. I'm so sad that they closed Toys R Us, and I really miss Robert Byrd. He was my bud.
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. So, guys, I really had a change of heart. I was really wrong over the last few years. Why Joe Biden is the greatest president of all time. I made this book, and I want to try to convince you guys too. So, as you can see on page 1, this is for sure, in my opinion, I start off with some of the most convincing arguments about why he's the best. But if you go to, let's see, page 2, it's really hard to decide between pages 2 and 3, but as you can see, there's a whole bunch of pages of why I think Joe Biden is the greatest president of all time. So if you want to convince your friends the same thing, make sure you head over to PresidentBidenBook.com and grab yourself one before they're gone. I appreciate y'all. Peace.
Dick, how are you, pal? Thanks for swearing at me. I'll tell you what, easy to swear at you. We've got news. Rashid Sunak is now the prime minister. You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough. What a stupid son of a bitch. But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. This woman helped me get an awful lot done. Anyway.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it. I'm sorry to take so long, guys, but everybody knows I like kids better than people. I like kids better than people. Everybody knows I like kids better than people. Look at them. Now, very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys in your 30s. Okay. No what? No serious guys in your 30s. I'll keep that in mind. People are waiting for relief. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it? Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening? They're going to have to compete and start playing hard-working people
a decent wage. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I think you know how much it means to me to have you swear me in today. And I thank you. Trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks to give out here. First and foremost to my perfect wife, Stephanie, my wonderful son, Will, and my daughter, Ava, already mentioned.
And you guys can sit at the edge or what? If you, I don't want you to have to stay, but it's up to you. By the way, he gave me permission to touch him. All right. Why don't you stay here?
Expand your capacity is through the partnership that we have, federal and state government, along with local governments. This issue is ongoing each year, as we have discussed. It gets worse. It affects real people.
Thank you, Boris. And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. No matter what their cost, 2, 10, 12, 15. Whoops, stepping on a, that's black. Anyway. Oh man, this is boring. Isn't this boring? Charlie, this is boring. Come on.
I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. On behalf of we, the 15, I ask you.
Please welcome Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Draghi.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. By the way, I'm very much worried about this guy's biceps. His biceps are big as my calves. Look at this. There's a man. I hope on the same side.
He's Russian.
I don't care who he is. He's got some real biceps. We call them guns.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate.
On the steps we've taken, he said, and I quote, "The combination of private enterprise and government working together has been really successful." He went on to say, all the way through the supply chain, there's a lot of innovation. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, the number of containers sitting on docks, we're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracies.
Let's go, Brandon.
I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm going to shut down the virus. Look, there is no federal solution.
That vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
Not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
People who've been vaccinated are unlikely to get COVID.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. That's why I'm moving forward with vaccination requirements wherever I can.
Breakthrough infections or breakthrough cases of COVID-19.
Fully vaccinated folks testing positive. That's going to be our new normal.
It seems that more than half of the people in the UK with the variant have been double jabbed.
Most are young people under 40 years old. Nearly 80% were vaccinated.
New concerns about the Omicron variant. A record level of children under the age of 5 are being hospitalized amid a climbing infection rate.
If you look at the children who are hospitalized, many of them are hospitalized with COVID as opposed to because of COVID. And they get counted as a COVID hospitalized individual, when in fact they may go in for a broken leg. So it's overcounting the number of children who are, quote, hospitalized with COVID.
If you're attacking me, you're really attacking science. I mean, everybody knows that. You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science.
95% effective.
This is our show. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This is the J&J vaccine that I'll be taking. So 1 and done.
Americans will need a third shot, fourth shot, another booster.
Talk about people getting a fourth. 4, I thought we were just talking about 3. So a fourth dose, the goal being to combat the waning immunity. Immunity wane after 6 months.
Tonight, a new vaccine that specifically targets Omicron may be just months away.
We are looking forward to be able to vaccinate all these vulnerable people.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Gracias a Dios y el trabajo de muchos, hoy tenemos vacunas para protegernos del COVID-19. Ellas traen esperanza para acabar la pandemia, pero solo si están disponibles para todos y si colaboramos unos con otros.
It's not about me and my rights. Now, obviously, there are some people who, for health reasons, can't be vaccinated. Different question. But it's not about me and my rights to choose. It's about how I love my neighbor. To love one another, as Jesus said, get vaccinated, get boosted.
We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
Welcome back, True Seeker. As you watch this clip of Joe Biden paying tribute to 666 on October 1st, 2021, watch how Jake Tapper in the CNN studio then repeats it, and then watch how the man he's talking to, how he responds with the smirk and the... Again, you guys, you turn on the TV, you open your mind to a sick, twisted cabal. Here we go.
Thousands of different questions tonight. They're all legit. I'm telling you, we're going to get this done. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter whether it's in 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks. We're going to get it done.
Very interesting. CNN's Ryan Nobles is live for us on Capitol Hill, right outside the meeting room. And Ryan, you heard the president there saying it's going to happen. We're going to get it done. It doesn't matter if it's 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks. We're going to get it done. What are you learning about what President Biden said inside that closed-door meeting?
Just look at it, how he had to go and just hold it in, instead he's got to answer Jake Tapper's question. Shouldn't the real question be, why is this man referencing 666 And again, the mainstream media, though, that's what they're always doing to their viewers. You know, putting things in front of their face, but then guiding them along with the things they should actually think about and the questions. It's all part of the sick programming. And again, learn your gematria. Lesson I taught many times before, there's only 1 month in the calendar year that has a gematria value of 666, and it's October. And this ritual was October 1st. So we'll leave it there, True Seeker. Till next time.
Scott Wagner was no stranger to controversy when he was at the state capitol, and that's not changing now that he's back in the private sector. The Republican from York County told ABC 27 he's putting
Didn't we watch this one already?
15 more billboards across the state showing Joe Biden and the caption, "Making the Taliban great again." Wagner is a vocal Trump supporter.
Listen, this is a real big deal that's going down in Afghanistan. I think I've made my point, and I'm you know me. I'm gonna say what's on my mind, and this is what's on my mind, and now it's on the billboard.
Wagner says there are 15 billboards up now, and with those others on the way, he spent about $15,000 on them all.
Bro, are these people serious? All right, so this one's a little bit newer, but we just passed an hour of Bo Jiden content at this point. This is just unreal. Unreal. This is actually coming out of Allentown, which is where my mother was conceived. Nonetheless, a man yells "loser" at Biden during his visit to Allentown, Pennsylvania. Lehu Zahir. This is from like a few weeks ago. Whatever. Same shit. Who in their right mind would call Biden a loser? I mean, clearly he's made it to the world stage, a front man. Definitely not a puppet on strings. I mean.
Look, we're going to get a chance to talk apparently after the fire station.
I work for the government in the Senate. Fascinating. How much of it, dude, it's just, think of it like this. Imagine, if you will, that this really all is just a show to the point where, and I get it, some of you have already accepted this as fact, but where they literally pump these people out, or if you want to call them people, they pump these things out of factories and program them and then put them out on the world stage. I mean, it's just mind-blowing of a thought, right? But not to get Conscious X adjacent, but yeah, just pretty obvious.
Look, we're going to get a chance.
Either that, or they're just putting completely senilic, MK Manchurian fucking puppets on. Either way, whatever it is, whatever the actual reality is, it's pretty close to the same shit either way.
Talk apparently after the fire station. So rather than, by the way, anybody want a coffee? It's on me. Right. You take the smoothie? Well, they're $6, but I'll do it anyway.
Secretary Austin?
I do. I'm sorry.
What's the option?
I'm sorry.
What's the option? I heard not to tell you earlier.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
Lehu Zahir. Wow. Well, there's that whole playlist. Over an hour of Creepy Joe content there for you folks. With that being said, I think it would be best if I were to keep this one short and sweet and let you just sit on what you all just saw there. I think that's a lot to think about, a lot to maybe meditate on. Hopefully not masturbate on, unless you have some serious issues, in which case please don't come back here to this channel. Please. Let me see. I had another playlist, but it looks like it's no longer here. so that kind of sucks. What playlist was it? Creepy Joe, that was one we just finished, right? Let me see. Or Joe Petto. Joe Petto. We just finished the Joe Petto playlist. Right there. Joe Petto. Pinocchio. Optics in play. Apparently 7 fucking videos from just a short playlist. 39 videos. Had 7 videos I can't watch. So, nonetheless, quite a good quite a good few different channels in there. And let me see if John Talks has any more recent videos, because most of those videos were older, with the exception of a couple of the last ones.
My grandpa was named Ambrose Finnegan. His kitchen table I learned. I used to say, Joey, nobody's better than you, but you're no better than anybody else. Maybe it's the Scranton. I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Worried about whether they can make next month's mortgage payment. Well, it is what it is because he is who he is. That's why it is what it is. He is who he is. You know, remember when he went on, he decided he was going to convince Bob Woodward what a smart guy he was. So he went on, yeah, smart guy. I'll leave.
God dang it. I wanted to hear the rest of that one. That one was classic. Classic.
My grandpa was named Ambrose Finnegan.
Why is it doing this? Just play the fucking video, man. Nonsense. But yeah, it looks like no one really is looking to come up tonight. I get it. It's late as fuck. I started late. I didn't drop the link until almost an hour in. I fucking forgot. But I put it in the description. So it's usually in the description. I usually try to put it in the script, the link to join in the description before or during the beginning of the stream. So just food for thought if anyone's ever looking for it. It doesn't light up anymore, unfortunately. Oh, you're working on building a PC. That's dope, son. That is dope, sir. My cousin is well, I don't know if he's still into that, but he was at one point once upon a time. I remember growing up, he was not much older than me. He is not that much older than me. And like say mid-teens, where he would have been, he was probably
My grandpa was named Ambrose.
mid-teen years, and I was early teen years. And because I think he's 34 now, 33, 34 now, and I'm 31. So anyway, he would always build his own towers. It was pretty fucking sick. Why can't I blow this up at all? All right, whatever. We're gonna watch this one more time because it's fucking hilarious.
Ambrose Finnegan. His kitchen table I learned. I used to say, Joey, nobody's better than you, but you're no better than anybody else. Maybe it's the Scranton. I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Worried about whether they can make next month's mortgage payment. Well,
you know what's funny is he was born in Scranton, right? Like how The Office is filmed in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The Office is 201 episodes. Like President Joe Biden's 201. 201, the number associated with the Jesuit order, aka the Society of Jesus. The Pope lives in Suite 201. It's called the Domus Sancta Marte, which equals 201. And yeah, the Pope's real name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, which equals 201. And it keeps going on and on with the 201. It's insane. You know, the movie Inferno, if you've seen it, then you know why I'm bringing it up. With the TED Talk optics and such. But anyway, yeah, Inferno's 2 hours and 1 minute, like how Tom Hanks beat his wife supposedly at a game of gin rummy at 201 points. It goes on and on and on. The 201 song that never ends.
He who is who he is.
Right.
That's why it is what it is. He who is who he is. You know, remember when he went on, he decided he was going to convince Bob Woodward what a smart guy he was. So he went on, yeah, smart guy. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure, isolate and punish China. Folks, true international effort to pressure, isolate and punish China. Donald Trump thinks healthcare. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I gotta admit.
Yo, how does this shit not get old? It's fascinating.
Lower than our power. Well, we're getting there, man. Hang on. To send every single person qualified to community college free. And if I keep going, you're going to freeze your fingers off. It wasn't. Donald Trump hasn't delivered on a damn thing he said he'd do. True international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China. Joey, nobody's better than you, but you're no better than anybody else. Maybe it's the Scranton. You got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder.
You know the thing.
It's gonna be fine. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. In that, no. That's gonna be a soundbite.
What a goon indeed, sir. What a goon the fuck indeed. It's just it doesn't get old though. That's what's crazy. And you know, I had more in my like head of things I wanted to play, but man, I just can't remember. Come on, man, I'm trying to remember here.
I learned a lot. And I learned that I learned a lot. Anyway, Bo was associated here. Anyway, the point I want to make is I learned so much.
Right.
I learned so much. I learned black, white, all colors, all backgrounds. But I mean, come on, man. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot. You know, come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. What I have to do is I have to continue talking about the things. Come on, man. I came down here because I remember the first bumper sticker I saw. I learned that I got hairy legs that turned blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. So I learned about kids jumping on my lap. I love kids jumping on my lap. Oh, I'm in trouble. What are we, nuts? Dead. You know, come on, man. Give me a little break here. Get a life. Taking cocaine or not? What do you think? Huh? Come on, man. Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds. But I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot. You know, come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You have a problem figuring out whether you're from me or Trump, and you ain't black. Come on, man. The Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. I can hardly wait to meet with that guy who is the stable genius. Come on, man. I am very willing to let the public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness. Come on, man. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids. Come on, man. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record. I know a lot of weed smoking. Come on, man. Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds. But I mean, come on, man. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot. You know, come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Why the hell would I take a test? I am, come on, man.
What the fuck,
All right, too much Joe. I think my brain is melting into a dementia vortex of absolute diarrhea and disempowered senility. And I'm starting to think that all of this social media and panelverse hopping and just day-to-day just internet dopamine hits, YouTube fetamines, I think it's making me kind of retarded, you know?
I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah. Me too. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm leaning on clips here. I'm trying to be a metaversal DJ of sorts, and it's not always working out. I'd say it's pretty much never working out. But I make do, and I fake it till I make it, and I guess I'll keep doing that for now. For whatever reason. Someone help me out here. Wonder what comes up on alt censored for. I never really use this, but it's interesting because they seem to have more risque content than some other alt platforms that pretend like they're alt platforms and they're just another fucking YouTube. Joe Biden creep. Oh man, 2019. Now we want some newer stuff. Why is this Sticks and Hammer 666 guy on here? Like he needs to be on an alt site. 55,000 views on his videos, even on these alt sites. Totally not sus. Here, I'll try newest. Oh, of course, and there's this video again. What? So the newest videos are from like 2021 and 2? Yeah, this site sucks. This site sucks. Wow. Godzilla presidential campaign. Oh man. Watch one more. One more creep compilation. See if they got any more interesting ones on here since it's not YouTube.
But it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You helped me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributors.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors. And the only reason, see, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talked about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son.
But I am not running for vice president. I would not accept it if anyone offered it to me. And the fact of the matter is, I would much prefer to stay as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee than vice president.
Will you ever run for political office again?
No. I'm told I get criticized by the new left. I have the most progressive record of anybody running for the anybody who would run. And so the younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy for it. Give me a break.
Look, John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the #1 job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word, jobs, J-O-B-S, jobs.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook.
Shout out to a new face here. It's good to see. I'm actually just grabbing a picture that I think I grabbed off of your community tab that reminded me of the crazy in-depth and occult symbolism of the Oreo. And so yeah, shout out to Dr. Corbeau. I don't know how to say that. Dr. Corbeau's Feel Good Fun Time Medicine Show. It's a dope name. A very dope name indeed. But yeah, you got your Leviathan cross, the Baphomet, as above, so below, your Templar cross with the 12 Zodiac. Sun God? I'm not sure what that means. As opposed to Ra, it's Re. Not sure. Solar symbol, hexagram, Solomon seal. Yeah, but the Oreo is pretty ridiculous. And someone might think, like you're trolling talking about this, but I mean, go get an Oreo and look at it. Actually, I would say don't get an Oreo. Just look it up. Don't actually waste your money on GMO toxic trash. But good to see you, sir. let me just on the sheer whim of you're having an awesome channel, let me do myself and this channel a favor. Oh, it also looks like Project Cheney's live with Mr. Mystic Mark, so maybe I could restream some of that, since I'd probably be watching that anyway. The My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast. But in the meantime, let me see something here. Yeah, but we're just hanging tonight. I'm just I'm still learning the broadcasting game, folks. So I don't mind at all just having a chill night where I just play creepy Joe videos for an hour. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't get old. It's always relevant. It's always appropriate. Well, inappropriate, I guess, right? But you get my point. Hashtag my butt's been wiped. And you know the thing. So pleasure is all mine, though. I heard you say my name from the other room. Sorry, but I missed everything else. Oh, okay. It's all good. Yeah, no, I was just giving you a shout out, sir. And of course, I'm gonna want to help my channel, so I'm gonna pass the wrench to a very interesting channel such as yours. So feel free to sub over to him, guys, and I think you'll like what you see over there. I haven't really got the chance to check out a lot in depth, but I'm sure I will. So here, we'll just go over there really quick just to get a quick look before we check out what Mr. Project Cheney's talking about and Mr. Mystic Mark. I think I'm good on the Joe Biden optics, right? At this point. At this point, I think you know the thing. You know the thing. So, the medicine show. Hoodoo, conjuration, witchcraft. Oh man, root work, folk magic, occultism, occult conspiracy. All right, so we're getting into some nitty gritty stuff here. Not for the religious, dogmatic zealot types, so to speak. Kind of a slick dissident type of vibe to some of the setup here. Hunter Biden. Well, let's check this one out. This is, I guess, appropriate, even though I just said no more creepy Joe videos. I mean, you do have one, so that's good stuff. Hey, I like that groove. Okay. Oh man, I don't have the fucking thing on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, we're getting too close. We're getting too close. It's getting awkward now. It's getting too awkward. It's getting extremely awkward. It's getting uncomfortable, folks. What's happening here? Yeah, alright. I can't do it. Can't do it. I can't do it. Too much. I'm not surprised about that one, sir. I'm not surprised. Oh, the end was good. I like the very end when it stopped zooming in on his Pecker Johnson kind of zoom in that split second there. The great clip where she just robots out. But without further ado, well, we got one more clip, and then without further ado, I will get into the video there. Oh yeah, they're playing. I know about this. That's funny. I was gonna play this. I started to play this the other day on
this
guy's Cage came on my channel and wanted me to play some of this guy's stuff, and sure enough, he's got a YouTube channel. Okay, how about that? Their written plans to kill us all, eat our flesh and drink our blood exposed. And what a coincidence, right? That it would have 223 likes, like Skull and Bones Mirrored 322. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Seriously though, that one really is probably a coincidence. Hard not to notice these things though. De-algorithmed, huh? All right, how about this? Drop a 1 in the chat if you'd like to hear this. Drop a 2 if you'd like to hear the interview with Dr. Project Cheney and Mystic Mark at the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast. Or drop a 3 if you want me to just browse a couple channels with some recent news stories like Truth Seeker. There was one video I was going to check out about a supposed DEW attack in Chile. And then what else? What was the other one? He posted another one too. Not sure what that one's about. Huge events happening right now. Kind of clickbaity, but what are you going to do? I think look forward to me and Tartarian Truth collabing soon. And yeah, we don't have anything set up really yet, but just look forward to that happening in the near future. Yeah, so what do you think? What do you guys think? A 1 for this, a 2 for that interview, or a 3 for some browsing? It's up to y'all. Sub to the doctor. All right, very cool. Your face next to his crotch. Yeah, that's that. I guess I made it worse by yeah, I made it worse for myself. I did that to myself, so that was pretty much my fault. Pretty much my fault. Huge event in my toilet. All right, well, just because Cage dropped this, I'll listen to the first 10 minutes, see what it's about. It seemed a little slow, but at least there's some visual component to it.
Christopher John Britons. It is January 31st, 2024. We have been misled to believe that the system of mutually assured destruction was planned out during the Cold War after primarily Jewish scientists, Lisa Meitner, J. Robert Oppenheimer, Edvard Teller, etc., developed plans and created atomic bombs and then thermonuclear weapons. And the secrets for that were passed along by J. Robert Oppenheimer's Soviet-affiliated spies and his friends, Klaus Fuchs and Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, David Greenglass, etc., etc., etc. They transferred all of that knowledge and secrets to the Soviet Union, who then developed thermonuclear weapons and aimed them at America, thereby creating the system of mutually assured destruction, where if there was a third world war, and should America and Russia, the Soviet Union, launch nuclear weapons at each other, both sides would be consumed in this mutually assured destructive war, and essentially all of humanity would be destroyed. And we're told that all this began in that period. We're not told that all of it was primarily engineered by Jewish people, but that's quite significant because the idea of mutually assured destruction between the East and the West is an ancient plan found in Judaism. And it is cryptically described in Judaism as a great eschatological end times battle between two terrific beasts who are described in the book of Job and in the Psalms as Leviathan, the sea serpent, representing the serpent from the Garden of Eden, now representing Christianity, Rome, Edom, the West, the Atlanticists of America and Great Britain as the great sea power of chaos, chaos being the Leviathan, being Samael, being Satan, the devil, again representing Christianity, and led like Christianity by Messiah, son of Joseph. Jesus was one of several Messiah sons of Joseph. He was the Messiah, son of Joseph of his generation, and he forecast in the book of Revelations and in Matthew chapter 24 that there would be this end times battle, and Jesus is to return as the Antichrist and destroy those he is said to lead. He becomes the Leviathan, leads the West into this mutually assured destructive war in which they plan to kill all of us off. On the other side of it, there is the behemoth. And in Job, Leviathan is described as this satanic figure hated by God. But Behemoth is beloved by God and is represented by Messiah, son of David, who leads what was to become the Muslims and the Marxists against the West, against the Romans, against Christendom, to kill them off. But it is a treacherous plan because Messiah, son of David, then kills off those who help him to kill off the Leviathan forces. So it is indeed a plan for mutually assured destruction, where Leviathan and Behemoth wage this gladiator combat against each other and kill each other off. And then the Jews are left standing in the world to come to take over the world to come. And when that happens, they have a great banquet feast, and they consume the flesh of Leviathan and Behemoth and drink the blood of Leviathan and Behemoth in the form of wine. And I'm going to show you all these plans. This is thoroughly vetted research. I have all the sources documented. I'm going to read them to you. I know it sounds fantastical, but stick with me. It's going to blow your mind. And all of this is cryptically portrayed in the Japanese film Godzilla, which was released, I think, in 1954. Notice in the foreign translations of it, it is billed as Godzilla, as in God in reptilian form. And that reptile Godzilla represents America, and it represents nuclear war and the nuclear bomb and the A-bombs that were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And all of that is cryptically portrayed in the film. And Godzilla himself is indeed the Leviathan, the great sea serpent creature, which emerges from the sea after nuclear testing in the oceans to come and commit a Holocaust against 6 million, as the Nazis did to the Jews in World War II, according to their narrative. So let's have a look at Godzilla. And I'm going to start explaining how all this correlates and is an analog to this very, very ancient Jewish plan to divide humanity into two opposing forces. Leviathan representing the Europeans, Rome, Edom, Christendom, misled by their leader, Jesus Christ, Messiah, son of Joseph. In each generation, there is such a figure who leads the West into self-consuming wars. And then the East, the behemoth, the land powers of Marxism, Islam, and Israel, led by Messiah, son of David, to wage war against the Leviathan powers so that Leviathan and behemoth kill each other.
Godzilla, king of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror.
So this is the trailer.
King of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal.
Notice that the monster emerges from the depths of the sea because it is the Leviathan, the crooked and the straight serpent of Isaiah chapter 27.
Godzilla, king of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind. Godzilla, king of the monsters, it's alive.
That fiery breath is described as being blue atomic radiation. And as I've explained in some of my recent previous videos, the color blue signifies protection of the Jewish people, but it also signifies a blue fire emitted from heaven that consumes the Gentiles, like in Obadiah verse 18. It is the fire that consumes Esau and Edom, and that is being cryptically portrayed by Godzilla's breath. And I'm going to show you all the proof of that.
A gigantic beast, stalking the earth, crushing all before it in a cyclonic cavalcade of electrifying horror, raging through the streets on a rampage of total destruction. Godzilla, king of the monsters, incredible titan of terror, wiping out a city of 6 million in a holocaust of flame.
Wiping out a city of 6 million in a holocaust of flame. This was 10 years after the Holocaust. This is cryptically portraying Godzilla as the Nazis wiping out 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. This is not coincidental. This is not by accident. All of this is engineered as pre-programming sympathetic magic for the war between Behemoth and Leviathan, the Asian powers, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Eurasianist communists of Russia, the Islamic countries, all being led covertly by Messiah, son of David, are being primed to wage a war against Godzilla, against the Leviathan, the Atlanticist powers of America and Great Britain. This is to be an atomic war. They are priming the world to be consumed in a nuclear war between America and Russia and China and all of the Eastern powers of the behemoth. So I'm going to start showing you now
I'm sorry, sir. You looked like you weren't dressed there for a moment. That's why I had to backstage you. I was getting confused there. You're not gonna do anything inappropriate, right, sir? Think you're muted there. You don't have your microphone on. Can you speak, sir? You have to unmute your mic. Oh, your mic is broken. I see. Okay. Got it. Well, I'm not sure that I'm allowed to have you up here, unfortunately, sir. But I do appreciate you coming up regardless, and maybe next time you can just get a pair of earbuds, and that would work out just fine. I'm not sure where you got the link either. I guess you got it in the description. But I am curious to know how you found the channel. It says your name is BT loves him. BT loves him, but that doesn't look like you in the picture. Huh. Alrighty then. I'm not sure what's going on here, but regardless, let me not overthink it. Let's continue.
All the proof of this diabolical plan that's been around for thousands of years to get us all to kill each other off in a mutually consuming war, and how it is now being engineered by characters like Alexander Dugin, Putin's Kabbalistic brain, who talks about this messianic apocalyptic end times war between Behemoth and Leviathan. Again, it was portrayed in the film Godzilla. When we see Godzilla versus Kong in the modern iterations of it, it is simply, once again, Leviathan and Behemoth mutually consuming each other and destroying humanity in the process, to leave the Jews standing as rulers of the world to come. At a great banquet feast, they plan to eat all the flesh and drink all the blood of Leviathan and Behemoth. This symbolizes capturing all the wealth of the Gentile world. It symbolizes trading in the organs of Gentiles, as is happening in the organ trade in Israel, where they harvest the organs of the Palestinians and sell them on the open market. It symbolizes gathering all the gemstones and gold and silver in the world and bringing them to Jerusalem and lining the walls of Jerusalem with all the gems of the world. That is what this banquet feast is to represent. If it ultimately represents cannibalism and literally consuming and drinking the wine of the blood of the Gentiles, it might, that is how it is described. There obviously is no behemoth monster. There obviously is no Leviathan monster. So it has to represent pilfering the real wealth of the Gentiles and consuming their flesh and their blood in one form or another. This has a long history. Again, it's encoded in the book of Job. It's encoded in Psalms. It is encoded in the Targum of Psalms and of Job. The Aramaic translations of them even more explicitly state this plan. So let's go through some of this literature. First, though, let's have a closer look at Godzilla, because this is actually very interesting in an extremely bizarre and ominous way. So this is the Wikipedia page for Godzilla. It says Godzilla is a prehistoric reptilian monster, that's the Leviathan, awakened and empowered after many years by nuclear radiation. So this is the modern format for it, the modern narrative, that this is to be mutually assured destruction through nuclear war. Godzilla was conceived as a metaphor for nuclear weapons. Others have suggested that Godzilla is a metaphor for the United States, a giant beast woken from its slumber that then takes terrible vengeance on Japan. So the Asians are being pitted against the Americans, despite the fact that it was actually Jewish people who created these atomic bombs and set up Japan to be attacked by them. But they want to keep an allegiance between Behemoth and the Asian forces, so that they can wage war against the Leviathan and defeat the Leviathan, and then themselves be consumed in this war. So they want to pit both sides against one another and play the victim of this battle, even though they themselves engineered it thousands of years ago, and the Japanese were duped into accepting that false narrative. Within the context of the Japanese films, Godzilla's exact origins vary, but it is generally depicted as an enormous, violent, prehistoric sea monster, awakened and empowered by nuclear radiation. Again, the Leviathan being associated with nuclear weapons and mutually assured destruction. Godzilla's character design was conceived as that of an amphibious reptilian monster. That is the serpent from the Garden of Eden, which was originally a camel that had its legs cut off as its curse for tempting Eve to consume knowledge and then fornicating with Eve to produce the Gentiles through their son Cain. The basic design has a reptilian visage Godzilla is explicitly described as male. We'll see why that becomes significant in Bhava Batra in the Talmud, folios 174b to 75a. When inquired if Godzilla was good or bad, producer Shogo Tamiyama likened it to a Shinto god of destruction, that would be Samael, which lacks moral agency and cannot be held to human standards of good and evil. That describes Samael to a T. He literally destroys everything, and then there is a rebirth. Something new and fresh can begin. That is Olam Haba, the world to come, after Olam Hazeh, the present world, is destroyed in this mutually consuming war between Leviathan, Godzilla, and Behemoth of the Asian powers. Godzilla's signature weapon is its atomic heat beam, also known as atomic breath. Nuclear energy that it generates inside its body uses electromagnetic force to concentrate it into a laser-like high-velocity projectile and unleashes it from its jaws in the form of a blue radioactive beam. We see that mythology again portrayed in the alternative media's bogus narrative of Lahaina and the forest fires in Hawaii, which were said to be by a blue beam directed from the sky, which fits exactly the Kabbalistic notion that blue fire will descend from the skies to consume the Gentiles from the power of the Leviathan, of Samael, of Gevurah and Din, the accuser, prosecutor, and punisher of the heavenly court. As a result of surviving a nuclear explosion, it cannot be destroyed by anything less powerful. In other words, we got to have a mutually consuming nuclear war. There we see Godzilla versus King Kong. We see Leviathan versus Behemoth. Godzilla has been considered a filmographic metaphor for the United States, as well as an allegory of nuclear weapons in general. In earlier Godzilla films, especially the original, portrayed Godzilla as a frightening nuclear spawn monster. Godzilla represented the fears that many Japanese held about the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the possibility of recurrence. Again, America is being scapegoated for what has been a most ancient Jewish plan. This is the Wikipedia page on the 1954 film Godzilla. He concludes that Godzilla has been disturbed by underwater hydrogen bomb testing. Emiko tells Ogata that Serizawa's research, a weapon called the oxygen destroyer, which disintegrates oxygen atoms and causes organisms to die of a rotting asphyxiation. After finding Godzilla, Serizawa unloads the device, cuts off his air support. This all ties into my theories that they're planning for a Noah's Ark of tunnels and bunkers. They want to destroy the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. They are cutting down the forests. They are burning the forests in massive forest fires around the earth, all in the name of averting climate change, when climate change is most heavily promoted by emitting moisture into the atmosphere, which they're also doing. So they are geoengineering a massive oxygen destroyer to kill off everyone on the surface, as they are preparing nuclear war, chemical weapons, biological weapons to kill off everyone on the surface. And they have prepared a system of tunnels and bunkers to serve as their Noah's Ark as they cleanse the surface of human life, just as supposedly happened in the Great Flood. This is to repeat the story of the Great Flood, that there should be this conflagration, as the Stoics described it, consuming the surface of the earth, and that the world to come will be initiated by this Noah's Ark in the subterranean realm of the 7 levels of hell, as described in the Zohar, and that they will survive it in this Noah's Ark by going underground as we are killed on the surface in this mutually assured destructive war. We're going to get to Bhava Batra and how it describes all of this in the Great Feast, where after they kill us, they're going to eat our flesh and drink our blood. But first, there are even more ancient and descriptive texts. And I decided to start off with Midrash Rabbah for Leviticus, because it talks about how they view this all as a sport. And I've seen rabbis describe it like a tennis match, where the East and the West kill each other, and the Jews get to sit in Israel and watch this sporting match where we go at it like gladiators and both sides die, and then the Jews are left standing to inherit the world to come. And they specifically describe this as a sporting match that is entertaining for them to watch. They describe how entertaining it has always been for them to pit Gentile forces against one another so that they slaughter each other for the benefit of the Judahites. I want to point out that most of this literature appeared in the era leading up to the emergence of Islam and after the Christian era had begun. So they had their Leviathan in Christianity, led by Samael himself, Jesus Christ. They needed to create Islam, led by Messiah, son of David, covertly, to pit against this Leviathan. And they created Behemoth in the form of Islam to be more holy, to oblige the Noahide laws, to not have the idolatry of worshiping Jesus and worshiping the Virgin Mary as idols. So they view the Behemoth Islam as Noahidism, as godly, and they view Leviathan as the evil serpent that hooks the Gentiles and reels them in, the fishermen of men, and that the Christians have been salted for the Great Feast, as we're going to get into. But what I'm describing is the fact that this plot, this plan to pit Leviathan and Behemoth against each other as Islam and Christendom appeared at the exact time that the Jews created Islam, to be this force of Arabs to wage war against the Roman Christians and drive them out of Palestine, and to wage war against the Persians and to drive them out of Palestine, and to eventually have this mutually destructive war where both sides consume each other and are destroyed, and that eventually grew to include the Marxist nations. So bear in mind that the Midrash, the Talmud, and the other things that I'm going to cite, Akdamut, the liturgical poem and prayers, a little bit later, but it all relates to Islam. And some of this appeared before the creation of Islam, and Islam was created in fulfillment of this plan. So let's look at what the Midrash for Leviticus chapter 13, verse 3 states. Rabbi Judan ben Rabbi Simon said, Behemoth and the Leviathan are to engage in a wild beast contest before the righteous in the time to come. And whoever has not been a spectator at the wild beast contests of the heathen nations in this world will be accorded the boon of seeing one in the world to come. So this is clearly a statement that Jews enjoy seeing the wild beast contests of Gentiles waging war against one another and killing each other off. That's this vicious, racist, genocidal portrayal. How will they be slaughtered? Behemoth will, with its horns, pull Leviathan down and rend it. And Leviathan will, with its fins, pull Behemoth down and pierce it through. Both sides are killed, even though through Christianity they pretend to be allies of Leviathan, and through Islam and Marxism they pretend to be allies of Behemoth. And they gave both forces nuclear weapons to kill all of us off with. The sages said, and is this a valid method of slaughter? They want to know if this is kosher slaughter or not, so that they can eat us in the end and drink our blood, because they can only do that if we're slaughtered in a kosher fashion. We have not learned the following in a Mishnah. Have we not learned the following in a Mishnah? All may slaughter, and one may slaughter at all times of the day, and with any instrument except with a scythe, or with a saw, or with teeth in a jaw cut out of a dead animal, because they cause pain as if by choking, or with a nail of a living body. Rabbi Abin ben Kahana said, Rabbi Kahana, that reminds me of someone, Mayor Kahana. The Holy One, blessed be he, said, instruction, Torah, shall go forth from me, i.e. an exceptional temporary ruling will go forth from me. Rabbi Berechiah said in the name of Rabbi Isaac, in the time to come, the Holy One, blessed be he, will make a banquet for his righteous servants, and whoever has not eaten Nebelah in this world will have the privilege of enjoying it in the world to come. The kosher pig, Chazir of Jesus Christ, will return as the Antichrist and slaughter all the pigs of the Gentiles, so that they can be properly eaten as kosher animals in the world to come when Jesus returns, Hazar, as the Antichrist to kill off the Christians. This is indicated by what is written, and the fat of that which dieth of itself, Nebelah, and the fat of that which is torn of beasts, Terafah, may be used for any other service, but eat it ye shall not, in order that you may eat it in the time to come. For this reason did Moses admonish Israel, saying to them, this is the animal ye shall eat. So note that this is being portrayed as a gladiator contest, as sport, as it's going to be described in some of the other texts I'm going to read to you, that they're going to enjoy watching us kill each other off. And after they kill us off, they're going to eat us, and they're going to drink our blood, whether that's symbolic or literal. I'll leave to you to decide. So this was written around the year 600, around the time that Islam was about to emerge, to become the behemoth, to serve as the force to kill off the Leviathan, and itself be killed off as these two competing forces of humanity destroy each other for the benefit of Jewry, according to this expressly written plan that I am showing you now. So this was composed by Eliezer ben Kalir, again around the year 600, just before Jewry created Islam to become the behemoth to pit against the Leviathan of Christendom. The battle between Behemoth and Leviathan. Then shall the gates of the Garden of Eden be opened, and the 7 preordained companies of righteous men shall be revealed within the garden, and the tree of life in the middle of the garden. They shall hear the sound of their Creator in the garden, and as once he moved about in the garden, so shall he now move amongst them in the garden. They shall see, and pointing a finger at his likeness, they shall say, such is our God, such is God our God, and we shall not die. He shall be our guide forever. Whereupon he shall show them the 3 rewards, Ziz, Leviathan, and Behemoth. The reward idea is that they're going to kill us and then eat us and drink our blood, steal all our wealth, gather all our wealth into Jerusalem. His flesh has many different flavors. When with great might he unfurls his wings, he darkens the lights of heaven down to the very depths, and then for their pleasure he shall bring out Behemoth by force. Behemoth has become Islam and Marxism. Behemoth, his lair is upon the 1,000 mountains. That's described in the book of Job. He daily feeds upon the produce of the 1,000 mountains, and he drinks from the abundant waters of the river Yuval, which issues from Eden to become 4 rivers. His roar rends the mountains, the 4 rivers of the 4 great empires. See the strength in his loins. His deeds testify to his might. The power in the muscles of his belly proves it. Who can stand up to him? Behemoth, again, is the favored of God and represents the Noahides and is led cryptically by the Messiah, son of David of the Gentile side. When he so wills, and all of that is described by the Gaon of Vilna as recorded in the book Kol HaTor, the Song of the Turtle Dove. When he so wills, he raises his tail like a cedar, making room for all the beasts of the field to nestle there. Then he gently lowers his tail in the thicket, of which he shelters the birds of the air, so that none shall be harmed by the beast dwelling within him. For he is merciful in all his ways. Thus he reclines like a king on his couch till the appointed day. That's representing Messiah, son of David. Again, this is the divine side of this battle, on which God shall sport with him and reveal him to the companies of the pious. Sport, as in this great combat of gladiator forces, where they get to watch us kill each other off. This is all a gain to them. And against him shall Leviathan be pitted. That is what they are doing presently. They are presently pitting Russia and America, China and America, Islam and America against one another, so that the Atlanticists, as the communists call us, of America and Great Britain, are the Leviathan forces of Edom, of Christendom, being pitted against Islam and the Marxism of the behemoth forces of Russia, China, North Korea. Israel is actively working both sides against each other. So this sport commences, and they get to watch us kill us each other off, and they're going to climb into Noah's Ark in all their little tunnels all around the world as we die off on the surface. Big fish dance for him below, angels sing for him above, chanting his glory and his praise. His undersides are jagged shards, his radiant fins obscure the sun. He sprawls on the mud like a threshing sledge. This is Leviathan. Smoke issues from his nostrils. Remember Godzilla blasting that blue flame, making all the waters of Bashan seethe. He lashes the sea beasts with his tail, terrifies and tramples them, then eats them and grows fat. They want us to grow fat on all the riches of the world. That's why Christianity was created, to harvest all the riches of the world and build a world empire, so that we can be killed off and then they can take it over. He makes the ocean foam and look white-haired as he crushes the beasts with his tail. So let's once again have a look at
Godzilla, king of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind. Godzilla, king of the monsters, it's alive, a gigantic beast, stalking the earth, crushing all before it in a iconic cavalcade of electrifying horror, raging through the streets on a rampage of total destruction. Godzilla, king of the monsters, incredible titan of terror, wiping out a city of 6 million in a holocaust of flame.
Wiping out I can't get over that. It's so obvious. Wiping out a city of 6 million in a holocaust of flame. Again, you see all the elements of Behemoth being portrayed by Godzilla, the bubbling waters of the steaming ocean, his fire breath. He's a sea monster. He comes to wreak vengeance on humanity. That all describes the Antichrist coming back, Jesus returning as the Antichrist to kill off all the Christians, lead them into self-destructive wars where they are consumed by the Behemoth. It's incredible how clearly all this is understood by those who are initiated into this belief system, and is so misunderstood, completely missed by the rest of the world. I'm the only person in the world who understands this, and is describing it for you. So foam, smoke issues from his nostrils, making all the waters of Bashan seethe. He lashes the sea beasts with his tail, terrifies and tramples them, then eats them and grows fat. He makes the ocean foam and look white-haired as he crushes the beast with his tail. His 365 eyes, 365 days of the year, gleam like the shimmering of dawn. He has rings of terrifying teeth. He is the finest of the 62 species. He has 2 couples in his retinue, the fleeing serpent and the coiled serpent. That's all Isaiah 27. And a pair of dragons. He is over them like a king over 2 armies. An open mouth awaits the final banquet when they're going to eat all of us. He is the heaviest and greatest of them all. His tail, mightily gripped in his mouth, girds the great sea like a ring. That's the American and British navies today. And when the great day comes, the great king will ordain that he be served up as a delicacy to the great people being the Jews. He will dispatch the great prince Gabriel against him, accompanied by a great throng of hosts, to spread a great net over him, and with great force to draw him out with a hook. That's all part of the description in Job of how to capture and kill the Leviathan, but also how to hook Christians with Christianity. It's very significant that Gabriel is the chief angel of Islam. Gabriel attended the prophet Muhammad, and it's Gabriel that's going to lead them to kill us all off. Gabriel, symbolic of Messiah, son of David, who is covertly leading the Muslims and the Marxists to wage war against us in the West, so that we kill one another off. Our guardian angel is Samael, the devil, Satan, in the form of Jesus Christ, and he is instructing us to wage war against the Behemoth. So all of this was engineered a very, very long time ago, and they are fulfilling these ancient and medieval plans today. They plan to fulfill them at exactly this time, when the age of Pisces, of the 2 fish of the Leviathan, gives way to the age of Aquarius. It is also almost exactly 2,000 years minus the 7-year tribulation period from when the sacrificial rites of Yom Kippur began to fail in the temple, as described in the Talmud. They throw spears at him, nuclear weapons, but he regards the iron spears as straws. They batter him and beat him, but he considers the clubs as splinters. They shoot arrows at him, but no arrow can put him to flight. Bronze to him is rotten wood. They sling stones at him as rocks, but sling stones turn to chaff on him. Then, seized with rage, he rears about to slaughter them. He raises his head against the mighty ones, and at his majesty the angels are struck with dread and flee from him in dismay. When this becomes known to God, the stronghold, he sends forth his voice, his mighty voice, to assault him with great force. Leviathan, in whose neck dwells strength, can find no refuge and is caught. In other words, we're going to be duped into going to war with Islam and the communist nations, and they're going to kill us all off. But in the process, they themselves will also be killed off. That is the plan. That has always been the plan. That is the plan of mutually assured destruction. And it is nuclear weapons which enable and guarantee that it is possible today, as well as biological weapons, chemical weapons, geoengineering of hell on the surface of the earth to block out the sun. The god Ra, that the god Seth wages war on. The god Seth is the god of the Israelites, and they want to turn the earth into hell. They want to flip over the flat earth and make the subterranean regions of hell the world to come. Now they press so close to each other that air cannot pass between them. That's Leviathan and Behemoth. That's east and west going at each other. The holy ones with their own eyes behold the combat. The holy ones being the Jews who get to watch this sporting match in which we exterminate each other. The holy ones with their own eyes behold the combat as the Lord sports with the beasts. So all this is a game to them. They enjoy the idea that we're going to mass murder each other just as they enjoy mass murdering the Palestinians. The horned behemoth begins by thrusting with his horns, and Leviathan parries with the rows of shields on his back. That's his plate armor of his scales. Then his smoking fire flares up, catching hold of the fleece on Behemoth's loins. Nuclear war. These blue energy beams, as the alternative media will have you believe, as they pre-program us, as they put their sympathetic magic on us and predictive programming to get us to welcome this idea that blue beams are going to kill us all off. In pain, he runs away to the shelter of Eden's trees and escapes from Leviathan. But the smoke billowing out of him kindles the spice trees and lilies of Eden, and the odor of incense is wafted to his heavenly abode. The whole garden fills with smoke because of Behemoth. The God of Israel loves the smell of burning flesh. And when they set these forest fires and when they burn up all these human beings in the coming wars, they believe that smoke helps them to breed demons in the atmosphere. They believe the atmosphere is filled with demons. This is where all this mythology of UFOs comes in. They want us to believe that there are UFOs involved with this so that they can scapegoat non-existent entities for what they themselves are doing. And part of this is that our salvation will come from above in the form of angels, and our destruction will come from above in the form of demons. And both the angels and demons are being portrayed as if positive alien forces and enemy alien forces. Again, all of this has to be conducted by human beings. All of this is being conducted by human beings. And the UFO mythology serves as a convenient and engineered form of scapegoating non-existent entities. So one, the problem can never be solved because people are pursuing things that don't exist. And two, the scapegoat enables them to get away with it because the finger is never pointed directly at them, at least not by their agents and the mass and alternative media. Whereupon a divine voice calls out from the heights, blow upon my garden, let its fragrance be wafted abroad to disperse the odor of its perfumes. Then at this signal, the north wind and the south wind awake and blow in all directions. Behemoth girds himself with strength and gaining courage, turns back to Leviathan, who is prepared for battle. We're at this stage, we're about to be killed off if we don't get together and stop them. And I think if we don't get involved in this current presidential election to get a reasonable candidate into power in the US, they may very well get away with bringing about our demise. Behemoth girds himself with strength and gaining courage, turns back to Leviathan, who is prepared for battle. He moves at him, tensed for the combat, and again they grapple with each other. Behemoth, mad with rage, encircles him with his horns like a master warrior, while the fish facing him wheels to the right, wetting his fins again and again. These are all naval battles, submarine battles, nuclear weapons, etc. As he tries to gash him, we have our Navy positioned in the Middle East to instigate all these wars. The Russians have their Navy in the Black Sea by Ukraine and in the Arctic to attack Europe, and they have them positioned to attack Japan and America as well. Behemoth arches his horns, Leviathan rears his fins, and the Red Chinese, of course, have all of their naval and man-made island bases out in the ocean to kill us all off with. But now he makes an end of the pair. Note, those of you in the East who think that the Israelis are doing this to help you, that they're going to kill off the Behemoth. Those of us in the West, be well aware that Leviathan is slated to be completely exterminated, then served up on a platter as food, and his blood, our blood, as wine. All of our riches are to be handed over and to build walls of Jerusalem with their sparkly bright lights. Behemoth arches his horn and Leviathan rears his fins, but now he makes an end of the pair to slaughter, prepare, and consecrate them. They shall be served up as a dish to the faithful people. Seeing that Israel has not been forsaken, they shall say, blessed is the steadfast one, for everything that he ordained long ago, he accomplishes now at the end of time. That is, now we are being set up for this war, this mutually assured destruction. It was not planned out during the Cold War. It was planned out by the rabbis and authors of the Torah 2,500 years ago, and has been a recurring theme throughout, and is discussed expressly in these exact terms by Putin's Kabbalistic brain, Alexander Dugin, as I will show you. So this is Akhdamut, which I've been talking about for years, which describes this battle. It is a prayer that they have. They pray for us to kill each other off and leave them standing as heirs to the world to come. Leviathan contends with Behemoth. They are locked in combat with each other. Behemoth gores mightily with its horns. The sea monster counters with its potent fins. The Creator slays them with his great sword and prepares a banquet for the righteous, who sits in rows at tables of precious stones, while before them flow streams of balsam, and they indulge themselves and drink full cups of the precious old wine preserved in vats. They're looking forward to gobbling us up and drinking our blood, figuratively, if not literally. This is Midrash Tanhukma Shmini 7. Know that this ritual slaughter was given only to purify Israel. As in the future to come, the Holy One, blessed be He, will make a meal for the righteous from the Behemoth and the Leviathan, and there is no ritual slaughter there. Know that the Leviathan is an unusual creature, and the angels fear him, as stated in Job 41:17, from his rising do the powers fear, that's Samael, Satan. And if they throw many spears of iron upon him, he considers them like straw, as stated in Job 41:19. He considers iron like straw, and also the behemoths of my fields are harsh as it crouches under 1,000 mountains, as stated in Psalm 50:10, the behemoths on 1,000 mountains. And so how are they slaughtered? Rather, they come and fight one with the other, as stated in Job 41:8, one approaches the other. The behemoths approach the Leviathan and hold him by his horn and split him. Behemoths are the communists and Muslims. Leviathan is the West and the Christians. And the Leviathan's death that he inflicts will be the opposite, as he smites him with his tail and kills him. Then the righteous ones go and take all portions. From here we see that ritual slaughter was given to only exemplify and to purify Israel. What can this possibly represent other than Christendom, which they have always likened to Leviathan, and Behemoth, which they've always likened to Islam? Behemoth led by Messiah, son of David. Christendom led by Messiah, son of Joseph, so that they kill each other off. Misled is the proper term. We're being set up to be exterminated. Plans are in play. It could well happen within 7 years if we don't do something to prevent it. So please help. This is Basichta de Rab Kahana. He maketh a path to shine after him. He thinks to grow hoary in the deep. Because his dwelling in the sea is over the deep, he believes that there he will continue to live safely. As he thinks to grow hoary in the deep, what will the Holy One do about it? He will bring Behemoth to Leviathan, and they will engage in close combat with each other. As is said, one is so close to the other that no air, ruach, can come between them. Read not ruach air, but ravach space. There is no space between them. Or the words, no air can come between them, refer to the ministering angels, who are called airy winds in the verse, who makest winds thine angels. Hence, not even ethereal angels can come between them. Yeah, we're gonna be right up face to face, killing each other off. Behemoth and Leviathan will be joined to each other, as is said. Excuse me. They are joined one to another, and once joined, they will not be sundered. As is said, they stick together that cannot be sundered. What will the Holy One then do? He will signal to Leviathan, who thereupon will strike Behemoth with his fins and thus slaughter him. At the same time, he will signal to Behemoth, who will strike Leviathan with his tail and slay him. Note 25.
Appreciate you, Dr. Corbo. It's always good to have some new people, especially with awesome channels. So I got to check out some more of your stuff there, and maybe even play some here at some point. It's always different. Every stream's different here. Sometimes we're more panel focused, running a panel. Other times we're just reviewing videos and playlists and whatnot. So it's very dynamic and always changing here. So expect that to be the case. Much love. I'm gonna probably finish watching this because I'm already in it now. We're already more than halfway through it, and I actually wanted to watch this the other day, and so it's more than a coincidence that somebody dropped it. So yeah, and not to mention Cage brought it up as well. So 3 times, or it was because of Cage I probably found out about it actually. So anyway, have a great night, and yeah, let's continue. Hope you all are enjoying.
Leviathan, being a fish, requires no ritual slaughtering. Hence the
Appreciate
blow
y'all.
from Behemoth's tail, which kills the Leviathan without cutting its wing, pipe, and gullet. So when they mass murder us, they'll be able to eat us and we'll be kosher. Is sufficient to make the latter's flesh fit for human consumption. But Behemoth, an animal, requires full ritual slaughtering. Hence, Leviathan must strike it with his sharp fins, thus cutting its windpipe and gullet to make its flesh fit for human consumption. So the Muslims and Marxists have to have their throats cut in a kosher slaughter so that they can then be eaten. Then what will the Holy One do at once? He will take the skin from the Leviathan and use it to make the sukkahs for the righteous. As is said, the gaps and walls of every sukkah of the righteous will be filled in with skin from the Leviathan. Thereafter, a banging a cymbal to attract customers. The righteous will hawk the Leviathan's head as a fish delicacy. They're now selling Christian Palestinians organs on the market. On this verse, Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Huna, the priest, and Rabbi Judah, the Levite, Bar, Rabbi Shalom, made different comments. One said, like fishmongers, the righteous will bang a cymbal and cry, let everyone who has obeyed the command of going up to Jerusalem in pilgrimage come and partake of the Leviathan's head, whose delicious taste is like the taste of the head of a fish from the Sea of Tiberias. Do they mean literally cannibalistically consuming us, or simply taking all our wealth? A colleague said, like fishmongers, the righteous will bang a cymbal and cry, let everyone who has obeyed the command of giving up to Jerusalem in pilgrimage come and partake of the Leviathan's head, whose delicious taste is like the taste of the head of the fish from the great sea. At once, all those who are summoned associates, so-called, come together and make a banquet of Leviathan, as is said, the associates by virtue of their all having obeyed the command to go to Jerusalem in pilgrimage, make a banquet of him. The Leviathan, like manna provided for Israel in the wilderness, was one of God's special creations. There is no Leviathan. It has to be human beings. In the days of the Messiah, Leviathan's head was to serve the same purpose as manna and thus prepare people of Israel for instruction in the Torah. Could this also be related to putting computer chips in our brains, in our heads, to make us slaves, to make women into sex toys for these people? Who knows what they have planned? It's total insanity. Another comment, the associates, members of many different associations, make a banquet of him. Some of the associations being concerned with the study of scripture, some with the study of Mishnah, some with Talmud, some with Haggadah, some with the deeds of charity, some with the proper performance of the precepts. Each and every association comes and takes a portion of Leviathan. And it goes on and on. So in the time to come, there will be no quarreling among those banqueting on the Leviathan. So we had seen references to Psalms, and this is the Aramaic translation of Psalms, which again prepares this narrative of Leviathan and Behemoth being food for the righteous in the world to come. Targum of Psalm 50, verses 9 and 10. Since the day when the house of my Shekinah, the female aspect of God, was destroyed, that's a reference to the temple, I have not accepted from your hand an ox or goats from your folds. They can no longer do animal sacrifices. For every animal of the forest is mine, and in the Garden of Eden, I designated for the righteous the clean beast and the wild ox, that's the behemoth, that grazes all day long on 1,000 mountains. So the Muslims are being set up to be literally eaten. Aramaic Targum to Psalms 104:4. There the ships go, and this Leviathan you created for the sport of the righteous at the supper of his dwelling place. So this is again describing this combat between East and West as a sport, as a game to these people, in which we kosher slaughter each other in the case of the behemoth, or simply kill one another in the case of the Leviathan, so that they can eat us at their great banquet when they celebrate the arrival of the world to come, when we are all dead. And I've been providing text after text that states that there will be no Gentiles in the world to come. This is from 2nd Baruch. This is one of the older texts other than the Old Testament that I'm referring to. Chapter 19, verse 1 through chapter 30, verse 1. And he answered and said unto me, what will then befall the whole earth? Therefore, all who live will experience them. That's everybody. So this is obviously the Leviathan and Behemoth are describing all the Gentiles, and the holy people are describing the Jews. For at that time I will protect only those who are found in those self-same days in this land, And it shall come to pass when all is accomplished that was to come to pass in those parts, that the Messiah shall then begin to be revealed. They say that the Messiah is being revealed now, that Benjamin Netanyahu will be the last prime minister of Israel and will hand over the scepter to the Messiah. And Behemoth shall be revealed from his place, and Leviathan shall ascend from the sea, those two great monsters which I created on the 5th day of creation, and shall have kept until that time, and then they shall be for food for all that are left. How are they made food? They're made food by killing each other off. The earth shall also yield its fruit 10,000-fold on each vine. There shall be 1,000 branches, and each branch shall produce 1,000 clusters, and each cluster produce 1,000 grapes, and each grape produce a core of wine. This is describing this battle in which our blood will be spilled as wine for them to consume, and our flesh will be rended and butchers slaughtered so that they can eat it up. So let's get into some of the other materials. This is from the Talmud in Bava Batra 74b, which is perhaps the most well-known, though not the most explicit description of this great banquet in which they're going to slaughter us and then consume us. And God created the great sea monsters. This is Leviathan, the slant serpent, and Leviathan, the tortuous serpent. As it is stated, in that day, the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword will punish the Leviathan, the slant serpent, and Leviathan, the tortuous serpent. That means all Europeans, all Christians, all Americans, all Western Europeans are going to be cut up and eaten like turkey on Thanksgiving evening. Even Leviathan, the slant serpent, and Leviathan, the tortuous serpent, he created male and female. Remember, I was talking about the male of the Leviathan. And if they would have coupled and produced offspring, they would have destroyed the entire world. What did the Holy One, blessed be he, do? He castrated the male. Samael is castrated. And he killed the female and salted the female to preserve it for the banquet of the righteous in the future. Does that mean that female Gentiles are slated to become sex slaves? As it is stated, and he will slay the serpent that is in the sea. And he created even the beasts on 1,000 hills. This is the behemoth, male and female. And they were so enormous that if they would have coupled and produced offspring, they would have destroyed the entire world. What did the Holy One, blessed be he, do? He castrated the male behemoth and cooled the sexual desire of the female behemoth and preserved it for the righteous in the future. So once again, all you communists and Muslims who think that you're going to fight for the Jews and they're going to help you, the plan is to eat you as well in the end. There are no victors in this battle except for Jewry if all goes according to their ancient scheme. There is Leviathan, whom you have formed to sport with. This is the game. This is getting us to murder one another, and that's great entertainment for them. And you see in many of the films that they produce that it's all about this gore, this mass murder, slaughter, rape, relentless violence to them seems to be a form of pornographic entertainment. The male must be left alive for sport because it is not proper conduct to sport with a female. Salted fish is good, but salted meat is not good. And I'm skimming over this, but all of this is deeply related and very important to the plan that I'm revealing that they have. In the future, Gabriel, again, Gabriel is the primary angel of Islam. This is related to the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque, and how Gabriel is to mislead the Muslims into this battle of mutually assured destruction in which the Leviathan and the Behemoth kill each other off. Gabriel will perform a hunt of the Leviathan. In other words, Jewry is covertly sicking the Behemoth on Leviathan, the Muslims, through their angel Gabriel, on the Christians, and at the same time sicking the Christians onto the Muslims. And the only person who is left standing are the Holy Messiah and his people of Jewry. And were the Holy One, blessed be he, not assisting Gabriel, he would not be able to hunt it. Without the help of Jewry providing nuclear weapons to the communists, the Behemoth would not be able to wage war on the Leviathan of the West. The West had the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The West is scientifically and technically oriented. So the Jews provide as spies of the Soviets and spies for the Muslims the information science and technology they need to wage war against the West and to kill us off. And that is how they have engineered the mutually assured destruction system of the nuclear arsenals of the East and West. They are acting as Gabriel, the angel, assisting the powers of Behemoth to kill us all off. They were treacherous and they betrayed the West, first creating these bombs of complete extermination and then shipping them over to the Soviet Union so that they could be used against us. When the Leviathan is hungry, he produces breath from his mouth and thereby boils all the waters in the depths of the sea, just like good old Godzilla. As it is stated, he makes the deep boil like a pot. In the future, the Holy One, blessed be he, will make a feast for the righteous from the flesh of the Leviathan and also from the Behemoth. And with regard to the remainder of the Leviathan, they will divide it and use it for commerce in the markets of Jerusalem. Again, they're engaging in commerce in the body parts of the Palestinians, Palestinian children that they mass murder. And with regard to the remaining part of the skin of the Leviathan, the Holy One, blessed be he, spreads it on the walls of Jerusalem, and his glory radiates from one end of the world until the other. The skin of the Leviathan is the stars in the heavens, the planets are his eyes, sun and moon are his eyes. This, again, is all an analog, just stealing all the wealth of the nations, all the jewels and gold and silver, and then lining the walls of Jerusalem with all of our wealth. As it is stated, the nations shall walk in your light and the kings and blessings arising. The Gemara analyzes the rest of that verse, and your gates of precious stones. So to show that all of this is current and is the plan that is being carried out, there is no better exemplar of that than Alexander Dugin and his book, Foundations of Geopolitics. He is also engaging in tweet storms, issuing his Kabbalistic, messianic, apocalyptic prophecies of how East and West are going to consume one another in a nuclear war. In his book, Foundations of Geopolitics, Alexander Dugin talked explicitly about Leviathan and Behemoth, the Leviathan being the Atlantis of America and Great Britain. This is, again, simply a repetition of this ancient Jewish plan to pit East and West against one another so that they mutually consume one another. So if we search this for Leviathan, it'll be very revealing. Behemoth is often represented as a hippopotamus, as a great ox, and very tellingly and very cryptically, and this is not known to many Gentiles, I'm the only one really explaining this, as the rainbow unicorn Pegasus that is being fed to our children. It is a symbol of Messiah, son of David. It is a symbol of Behemoth, the Marxist and Muslim forces, Muslims and Marxists being the Noahides coming as the rainbow of Noah to wipe us all out. So they have our children draping themselves in their own suicidal destruction by embracing this rainbow unicorn, which symbolizes Messiah, son of David, and the Behemoth who's coming to kill us all. And then they also have us draping ourselves in the skin of the Leviathan in the form of Christianity and Jesus Christ, who represents the Leviathan. So they are killing us off in both ways. Oops. There we go. So Dugin goes on to describe Carl Schmitt and the hippo versus Leviathan. Again, a hippo is a river horse, and it represents the Behemoth. In Schmitt's view, the land and the sea divide is about two completely different, irreducible, and hostile civilizations, both of which were created by Jewry in the form of the Abrahamic faiths of Christianity, Islam, and Marxism, rather than about variants of a single civilizational complex. This division is almost exactly the same as the picture painted by Mackinder, but Schmitt gives the main elements of thalassocracy, sea power, and tellurocracy, land power, the Atlantis and the Eurasianists, an in-depth philosophical interpretation linked to basic legal and ethical systems. Interestingly, Schmitt uses the name Behemoth for the land powers and Leviathan for the sea powers as a reminder of the two Old Testament monsters, one of which embodies all land creatures and the other all water creatures. So Dugan is throwing this Kabbalah in our faces, and it was portrayed by Hobbes, as Dugan notes, and it's all about setting up this war of mutually assured destruction so that all human beings except Jews are wiped off the face of the earth. Leviathan is Hebrew, sea monster in the Bible. Schmidt's term, same as Atlanticism, sea, Atlanticis, America, and Great Britain. And I really don't want to belabor the point, but I just want to show that our enemy, Alexander Dugin, has a great following in the alt-right and among the neo-Nazis that Putin has paid for, the secessionist libertarians that Putin has paid for. All of these are controlled opposition who celebrate the behemoth. They are traitors to us in the West, undermining us so that behemoth has an easier time of slicing and dicing the salted fish of the Leviathan. This is all part of this ancient setup to exterminate the Europeans and really exterminate all of humanity. And I hope that since I have proven this to you absolutely with the primary source material, that you realize the danger that we are all in, and there's not a lot of time left because as I calculate it, they want the year 2030 to be the end of the 7-year period of tribulation, which they started in 2023. They are setting up World War III. They set up mutually assured destruction. It was Lisa Meitner and J. Robert Oppenheimer, communist Jews who created atomic bombs in the West, and they worked together with communist and Jewish spies like Klaus Fuchs, and that's a good German word meaning fox, or a clever, deceitful person. And Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, Jewish American communists, David Greenglass, and a whole large host of others who then gave that knowledge that they were talking about, providing, like the angel Gabriel, the behemoth with the means, the technology, and the science with which to kill us all off in the West, just as they provided the West with the means, the technology, and the science to kill off the behemoth. And both sides are being set up to slaughter each other so that they can serve us up on their platter and gobble us down in the world to come and drink our blood. Old wine stored in vats from the beginning of time is the way they view it. They call it a sport. They call it a contest. And it's happening. It's really happening. They planned it out. They are carrying it out. We have been set up for this, and we're about to all be killed off unless we stop them. I suggest we stop them in the courts. We need the power of the state since they have subverted our leadership. We need to become politically active and at least try to elect some decent leaders. In the meantime, we need teams of lawyers tying them up in the courts so that the state can be used against itself to undermine their subversion of the state, so that we can tie up our leaders in the courts to keep us from furthering this agenda to set us up in World War III so that we kill each other off. We need some means of assisting the Russians and the Chinese to shed their communist leadership in Putin and Xi Jinping. That will be very difficult, but the best means we have to safeguard ourselves is to further develop and improve our nuclear arsenals so that, and to target the proper targets so that this is not simply a sporting match in which East and West will be destroyed, but so that there is no hope of survival for anyone should this this sporting match be played out. We need a credible deterrent. For decades, they have been undermining us. Clinton and Gore, who were proteges of Armand Hammer, gave the behemoth in China the ability to generate massive amounts of nuclear weapons. They built up their atomic program for the specific purpose of setting them up with the weapons with which to kill us all off. The Israelis have been giving the Chinese our missile technology. The Russians have been giving North Koreans atomic and missile technology. Our subverted government has been allowing the Chinese and Russians through espionage to gain access to all our hypersonic aircraft and missile science and technology. We need people in power to stop that. Until we get people elected, I suggest we get teams of lawyers to tie them up in the courts, and that will also help to expose this entire agenda. I strongly suggest that my research be employed in the courts to take these people to court for conspiring and planning to exterminate us all through mutually assured destruction for thousands of years. It cannot be coincidental that these same people engineered all these plans and are carrying them out today. Please help to support my work. I can't do this without your help. I want to thank all of those who have been contributing. Seriously, I can't do it without you guys. Please, please, I need your help to keep this going. There is no one, absolutely no one else on the face of the earth who understands this, who has the insights that I have, and who will come forth and present this to you. So if I am forced out of this, let's call it the self-preservation effort, there'll be nobody else. There's just no one else out there. And so please help me keep going. Please contribute. You'll find links at my website, cjbbooks.com, beneath each of my book titles. At the bottom of my website, you'll find my social media channels. Please subscribe to them all, as I am doomed to be knocked off one after the other on social media. And check for links in the description below. I want to again thank all of those of you who have been contributing. I put a slide in to give my personal thanks to all of you, but for some reason, Windows isn't allowing me to open up that slide. So next time I'll have to set it up a different way. But I am deeply grateful to you, and I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do all that. That's okay. Anyway, so that was, well, this is actually a video here from a new member here, a new fellow moderator as well, Mr. Dr. Corbo's Feel Good Fun Time Medicine Show, who I found over there on, in Rotting Jules chat live stream. She was going in on the Esalen Institute and a whole bunch of topics, actually. That was quite interesting. But that video we just watched was their written plans to kill us all, eat our flesh and drink our blood, exposed, allegedly. And yeah, it was very interesting, and feel free to rewind it and rewatch it. No one's saying you can't. Ancients didn't have blood banks. They used intravenous milk. Huh. Well, this meme is a little bit possibly clickbaity, but possibly not. Who knows? I don't rule anything out, really, at the end of the day, other than that someone could say that they have the ultimate truth, especially if they're not providing ample and various types of proof, so-called and so-called evidence. Cows are walking hospitals. One-on-one interviewed. Oh, okay. One-on-one interviewed Dr. Corbo. That's cool. Yeah, I've yet to collab with Mr. Juan, but patience, my children. Patience is a virtue. I want to step up a few things before I collab, because once you collab with people with a more respectable audience and whatnot, they will remember you as that guy with the shitty microphone, or you know what I mean? That guy with the shitty laptop. So there's a reason why I haven't collabed with quite a few people who have reached out to me, as to be honest. Juan is one of them. So Juan and John, indeed. So I have this idea. I'm thinking of shutting down at 2 hours and 42 minutes. 2:42:42, something like that for 2/4/24. I started at 2:04 as well. Just thinking about it now. It's already coming up on 5 AM anyway. I had a new video from couple new videos from Mr. Elusive. Shout out to Elusive Truth. Check that out. We got Billy Boy here. A PSA from Batman, folks. And then some
Making
pre-programming.
the mRNA is really easy and really cheap, and that's
Right.
the magic of this thing. But there's no doubt in the next 5 years, we can, we just need to mess around. There's a lot of lipid nanoparticles, and some are very self-assembling. There's no inherent reason it's not thermostable, it's not cheap, and it's not scalable. And so, as over the 5 years, we fix that part of it, mature it, which is very typical.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We'll be able to build factories worldwide that can make $2 vaccines with even less lead time than we've had to have here during this pandemic. And we'll use those, as you suggest. For every disease that we don't have vaccines, we will try mRNA. In fact, for HIV, we have multiple ways. One that's more of a B cell approach, one that's more of a T cell approach. For malaria, we have multiple ideas. For TB, we have multiple ideas. And so to fill in the missing vaccines, we'll make a lot of our bets of the Gates Foundation and others who care about global health will be mRNA focused.
Right. Safety, folks. All right. Do it for the safety. Damn it. Fucking slave.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old, I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. What'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
So shout out to Elusive Truths. And yeah, I guess that's about it for tonight. I guess I can leave leave off with a little bit of it looks like Mr. Machine Lies has got Talcott and Cage and Neurojack on, so let's see what they're talking about before I shut down, and then we'll sign off, folks. So thanks for being here. Peace, prosperity, and pineal power.
To you, does that really matter to you, Jack?
I'm gonna rewind it a sec here, see what they're talking about. Peace, prosperity, and pineal power, as I always say, folks. Much love, and take care, and I'll see y'all ASAP. And you can count on that.
That, you know, whether you fail or win, you know, application is about you know, applying yourself to your fullest extent. It's not necessarily about getting a specific result. Otherwise, it would be reduced to technique. You know, skill is not technique. You know, yeah, you know,
yes,
yeah, you know, skill.
You're extremely on point with that, because when it comes to any magical operation or whatever you want to call it, that's something beyond what you're being put into. We're gonna have to.
I want to fast forward to Neuro, so
You know,
it's
in
a fuller panel anyway.
Time.
Makes sense. Bear with me here.
Okay. Why does it not matter to you? Your behavior is what I'm discussing. Why does
Here
your
we go.
behavior not matter to you, Kate?
Here we go.
It does matter. Well, obviously, it does matter in a way. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's a negative behavior.
I'm addressing your behavior, Cage, and you were trying to say it's in my mind. If that's not gaslighting, I don't.
My behavior is my own. I'm saying your reality is, even having this conversation.
Damn, I had Jack blocked there, dude. Sorry there, Jack.
In a way.
And so you're blaming my mind for your interruptions?
Yeah, it's called self-accountability. I'm gonna blame myself, blame you. It doesn't really matter. Same thing.
Can we stop trying to blame and label and just kind of chill out? Right? I don't even
I'm
know
not
what I was trying to get out. See, this is what happens. We try and discuss topics for truth to grow and emerge. That's the natural course and the way the Creator has designed us. But what prevents the truth from growing, the truth is the power that we can know. What prevents it is our primitive, juvenile impulses, the antichrist, the rebellious one, the one that keeps the truth from flowing. I've been working on my own patterns, right? Self-control. Actually intentionally trying to listen more than interrupt. I have a bad habit of interrupting. I recognize that in myself. And maybe that's why I'm seeing it in you, Cage. But
of course you're gonna see it within me, because everything's a projection.
You a little bit broke up there, Brother Cage, and I don't know if it's permanent, but I like what you were saying about growing the seed. In terms of application, it's huge, because application, there's a bifurcated place of application right there, because you could think of the architect and the gardener, you know, that they have different processes. I've heard this described before, you know, that an architect has to lay the plan first and then he builds, but the you know, the gardener, he's always nurturing as the process goes along, so he has a kind of a different process of application, you know, or nurturing. You know, that nurturing is a different process than just simply planning, you know.
Nurturing. These are some of the ideas I've been having about how do we change our minds from the real rigid and controlling ways.
Jack, you say you want to make a difference. You want to
let him finish his thought real quick, bro.
No, it goes back to the nurturing versus the planting, or the seeding,
right,
or the sowing of the seeds, right? When you leave a seed there, when you plant a seed, you can't go and disrupt it. You know what I mean? You have to let it lay where it is to develop roots and hopefully develop into something. So you can't constantly go over it and fuck with it and touch it and mess with it. You gotta just lay sow the seed, move on.
Well, if you try that with a child and watch how that goes. But yeah.
All right, let's end on a high note. We're gonna end on a high note.
If you want 4 more years of Donald Trump, let me hear you
If
scream.
you want 4 more years of Donald Trump, let me hear you scream. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 ding. Okay. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb bomb. I'm the Mega King. Look at Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. We got to get him out.
Joe Biden is truly a threat to democracy. Well, why? For 2 reasons. Number one, we just said part of it, but number two is he's incompetent. We are the party of common sense, and that's what we are. You know, we're conservative, we're this, we're that, who cares? We're the party of common sense. He's called Make America Great Again. Joe Biden doesn't know. He says, we have to stop MAGA, but he doesn't know what it means to make America great again. Ding, 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 bomb. Ding, 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 bomb. Ding, 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 bomb. Ding, 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 okay. Ding, 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 bomb. Ding, 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 bomb. Ding, 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 bomb, bomb. I'm the MAGA king. Every day the Republican Party is becoming more unified. Vivek, please come here. Vivek Ramaswamy.
We are in the middle of a war in this country. It's not between black and white or even between Democrats and Republicans. It is between those of us who love this country and a fringe minority who hates the United States of America. If you want to revive national pride, vote Trump. If you want to revive our national identity, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. Vote Trump, and that's how we do this. God bless you and your families and our United States. Vote Trump.
Yeah, fuck that.
Dynamo. And this I do for Vivek because ding ding okay. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb. Ding 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 bomb bomb. I'm the MAGA king.
Now listen, if you have not subscribed to YouTube channel, do it right now. Do it today. And all you have to do is click the big red subscribe button.
I will see you very soon. Much love, folks. See ya ASAP.